Well, that night, my sister had the party, and someone called the police for underage drinking. After being arrested and confronted by the police later on, my sister threw me under the bus and said I'd supplied the alcohol she was using. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Own Sister Made False Claims Against Me Because I Refused to Supply Alcohol for Her Party. And a big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this story is all about a guy, right now he's in his 30s, and he's reflecting back on events that happened when he was 22, and his younger sister was 18. You're going to see that his younger sister eventually becomes disowned by the family for stunts that she pulled back then. His younger sister is a completely spoiled, entitled, narcissistic a-hole, always treated like a princess by the mother, who sounds like she ran the show. And one day she decided to throw a big party when the parents went away and have alcohol, and try to get her older brother, who's legal age, to provide. He wouldn't do it. She had the big party, got busted, and blamed him. And it was a whole freaking shit storm. And I thought this would be a good one, guys, just to show you another example of what happens when a parent or parents spoil a kid so bad to make them think that they can pretty much get away with anything, that nobody else matters but them, etc., and the whole attitude. Because you're going to see, the guy telling the story, he was raised completely different than his sister. He was raised with normal standards and all that, but the sister, spoiled, entitled a-hole, by the mother mainly. Meanwhile, he was chopped liver with the mother. And you can see how this whole thing plays out. For you parents out there, an example in the extreme, what can happen when you spoil your kid too much and all that. But also, a good story where justice is served for a total a-hole. So, starting off, he says here, this happened some years ago. I'm in my 30s now, but back then I was 22. My sister was 18 and was my mom's golden child. My dad thankfully had a good head on his shoulders and always called my sister out on her BS. But my mom's interference always meant my sister got off easy anyway. This is what happened back then. So, mom calls the shots in this situation. Bad idea. My parents decided to take a vacation to ski in Aspen and let my sister watch the house for them. They told her no parties. But that was a rule she straight up ignored. A day after our parents left, my sister started sending out invites to a party. And she promised free alcohol. I didn't see the post just yet, but my sister called me and asked me to go and get alcohol for the party because I was over 21 and could legally buy it. She also wanted me to pay for it and said she'd invite me to the party and introduce me to an easy girl in order to pay me back. Let's stop right there. So he's going to betray his parents' trust and put both his parents and himself potentially in danger of criminal and civil charges if anything goes wrong, just so he can, and he has to pay for the alcohol, so he can be told about an easy girl. Come on here. I told her I wasn't going to break the law to make her happy. She should never have told people her party would have alcohol. She screamed at me over the phone that I was ruining her life, and that she couldn't take back the invites now, and they were all over Facebook. Not my problem, you little a-hole. And by the way, I would tell the parents right then and there. I looked at her post and face-palmed. I told that what she did was really stupid and that her friends were all underage. So it's illegal. She tried to say it'd only be illegal if I narked on them. I said I wouldn't narc, but I wasn't going to buy her booze either. She screamed at me some more, so I hung up the phone. So, even though he didn't want to be ratting her out, you're going to see, guys, it would have been a better idea that he did. Now watch this. Well, that night my sister had the party, and someone called the police for underage drinking. After being arrested and confronted by the police later on, my sister threw me under the bus and said I'd supplied the alcohol she was using. You gotta be shitting me. What a little bitch. She's like, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. Turns out she actually broke in Dad's liquor cabinet and thought it'd be better to frame me for her crime. The police came and arrested me at my apartment the day after the party. So immediately the guy's guilty. They seemed already convinced that I was guilty and didn't really listen to me when I said I wasn't even there. But I willingly cooperated with them. At the station, I told them the whole story and got them to look at my sister's Facebook account. Thankfully, there were a few people who listened to me there, but I still had to sit the night out in the cell while my parents were called. My mom and dad flew back home overnight and bailed out both my sister and I. My mom tried to make my dad leave me in jail because my sister had told them her lies as well. But my dad took the time to talk to me and to look at my sister's Facebook, so he believed me. This caused a fight between him and my mom. When they got home, my dad discovered my sister had broken into his liquor cabinet and spoke to the police on my behalf. My mom, however, still wanted to blame the fault on me because, as she put it, the charges were ruining her baby's future. At this point, once this was done, if I'm the young guy, I would have nothing to do with my sister anymore and nothing to do with my mother anymore. Betraying my baby's future? Hey, Mom, you're the a-hole that raised her to be this way. And by the way, I'm your child too. I'm willing to bet you, when I first read this, I immediately thought that the daughter was probably the love child of some guy, some chatter tyrant she cheated with, and this guy is the son of the actual father here in the story because of the way she treats him and the girl. But my innocence was further proven by the fact that I and my car were seen on CCTV when I left work and when I arrived at home, as the apartment that I was living in had CCTV cameras to watch from the parking lot. My car did not move from there for the rest of the day and night. In my sister's story to the police, I had driven out and gotten the alcohol for her. But I wasn't seen on any CCTV in any liquor stores in the county, and my bank account showed no transactions buying alcohol. My parents' house also had a camera at the front door, and my car was never seen in the driveway that day. After being confronted with those facts, my sister's story changed to saying I already had the alcohol and gave it to her at my apartment. So she won't let up. She has to keep that lie going. But my sister's car never showed up in my apartment either, and there was like 3 cheap beers in my apartment fridge and had no hard alcohol. My sister finally had to give up on her lies, and my parents were severely disappointed in her. That's it. I would be saying a lot more than severely disappointed with her. But my mom still tried to convince me to take the fall for my sister. See what I said? How I think the sister and this guy have different fathers? She came to my apartment and actually demanded that I tell the police that it was my fault. So you're going to ruin his life, but not the girl? This guy didn't do anything wrong and you can tell was a good guy. You can tell here that the sister and the mom are very much alike. I said I wasn't going to ruin my future for my sister. She refused to leave and went from demanding to begging. She even got on her knees and tried to convince me that she and my dad would make everything okay in the long run if she took the blame now. I said I'd rather live my life poor than have a felony on my record. She threw a huge fit and started throwing things because I refused to do as she wanted. I threatened to call the police and she left my apartment cussing me out like a mad woman. This is his mother, for God's sakes. I'd have nothing to do with her at that point anymore. He's 22 years old, is his own man, and I'd be urging the dad to divorce her ass. And I'd also be doing a DNA test at that point, I might add. What is the girl going to learn from all this? If this guy took the blame and they got her off scot-free and all that, what's she going to learn? That no matter what I do, no matter who I hurt, who I destroy, I'm always going to get away with it. Thanks, Mom. Great job. And you know what? Yes, he says that the mother raised her this way, but you know what? Her father, he let it happen too. So he's guilty as well. It's a fact. I never heard so many F-bombs out of her before or since. But she kept them all up all the way to her car and followed up by saying that she should have aborted me before driving off. God, she's evil. I called my dad right away and told him everything that happened. He was insanely pissed and got into a huge fight with my mom as soon as she got home. Good. It's about freaking time. She didn't even deny anything she said or did because she deemed it would have been for the greater good of their daughter. But my dad told her that she couldn't destroy me to save my sister. Then he threatened to divorce her if she didn't try to make things right. She ended up sobbing, and then he said she'd do whatever he wanted. Look what happens when the man lays down the law, when the man calls her on her crap. And by the way, guys, in case you haven't figured it out already, this is a very wealthy family, which you'll hear about more in the story. My dad said there was a couples and family counseling, or it was a divorce. My mom signed a prenup before she married him and really had no choice. In the family counseling, I call her out as she always believed my sister's lies. My sister tried to say they were not lies, but each one I pointed out from over the years and said otherwise. I'd taken the time to write a list of all the ones I could remember from the past decade, and all had been proven that she lied. And my mom and sister were forced to stay silent as I read them all. They tried to interject repeatedly, but my dad and the counselor silenced them. My sister now proved beyond a shadow of a doubt to be a liar and a manipulator. Just shut down and refused to say anything more to the counselor. Yeah, because the counselor could see through her BS. And my mom finally apologized to me, but it was a forced apology because she looked so uncomfortable doing it. I told her her apology was very fake, and after so many years of favoritism, the damage was already done. Yeah. As a favor to the father, yeah, I'd go. But other than that, it'd be like, I don't have anything to do with these women at all. And Dad, you need to kick her to the curb. She's awful. And I want a DNA test. My relationship with her never really recovered because she was convinced I was guilty no matter what was said, until my sister admitted the truth and then wanted me to pretend to be guilty one way or another to protect her favorite child. But nothing went her way, so she just went back to crying about it. All else fails, the waterworks. I talk often, guys, about how in life you need to cut people out of your life that bring nothing but turmoil and drama and toxic shit and all that. Even family. And right here, is this worth having people like this in your life? And so many people will put up with awful things because it's blood. That's bullshit. When my sister went to court, my mom pleaded with the judge to go easy on my sister for the charges of underage drinking and giving other underage people alcohol, as well as attempting to frame me for her crime. She also resisted arrest when the police came and shut down the party. She was very drunk when it happened. They kept her in a cell overnight to sober up, and then she told the police I'd been the one to provide the alcohol. My mom's begging alone with the relentless lawyer my parents hired got the judge to cut a deal provided my sister plead guilty. Yeah, that's going to really do a lot for the girl. Again, she gets off easy. What's she going to learn? Which she did not want to do, but her lawyer highly... hang on a second here. My mom's begging alone with the relentless of the lawyer my parents hired got the judge to cut a deal provided my sister plead guilty, which she did not want to do, but her lawyer highly recommended she take the said deal to avoid jail time because there's no other way of keeping her from getting a felony on her record. My sister's lawyer used the fact that the alcohol had not been bought that day, but rather had already been in the house long before the party happened to help lessen the charges. That girl should have done time. And maybe she would have learned something. Probably not, but justice had to be served, but it wasn't. It says here, my sister had also been completely deleted by her soon-to-be... my sister's Facebook had also been completely deleted by her as soon as she was able to, in order to hide the post. The judge just wanted the case over with, so my sister got off with a huge fine that our mom paid most out of her own pocket and a couple years probation. So she learned nothing. She was also made to go get therapy, too, by our dad. She's never really showed actual remorse for what she did, though, and only had animosity for me, no matter how wrong she is and how wrong she was. She was eventually diagnosed as a, wait for it guys, narcissist after Dad made her go see a doctor. There's a big shocker. After her probation and 4 years of college were over, she decided she was going to leave home for California and never come back once she landed a good job. Oh, great. As if California didn't already have enough female narcissists living there already. Got to have another one. California is the mecca for female narcissists. Good Lord. She currently works in an office in Los Angeles, and we've not spoken in years. Good. I wouldn't talk to her either. Dad got her that job. Smacked the dad. Again, everything's provided. Mom is the big a-hole in the situation, obviously, but the dad... he enabled her behavior. Dad holds all the cards because they had the prenup, and the mom's obviously afraid of him that he'd divorce her, but still he caves, obviously, to the mom's demand. This is what happens when you're a weak-ass man and let your wife freaking run the show. Yeah, he said the son said that, the dad will call her on her BS, but still, he eventually gives in and gets the girl gets what she wants. Stupid. Your dad got her that job, and she showed any appreciation for it. Why would she? She's entitled to everything. Even my mom has given up on her ever coming home for the holidays and us being a family again. You're never going to be a family again. You never were a family. There's no love there. It tore her up inside for years, but now she's just bitter. She doesn't really blame me anymore, but we only seem to show indifference to each other. Just because my sister cut her off wouldn't make me the new de facto favorite. It just means my mom lost her baby and isn't getting her back. She can't leave my dad because she's too reliant on him despite having her own career. She's never wanted to be on her own again. She's just become a shell of her former self. Things between me and my dad are still great. He's pretty much disowned my sister for what she's done. Good for him. It's about freaking time. He should have done that a long time ago. But I'm willing to bet you he'll still provide money if she calls up saying, Daddy, and needing something. Well, this is a start. And I stopped caring if she'll ever talk to him again. He and my mom don't even sleep in the same bedroom anymore. She moved into the guest room some 5 years ago and has stayed there. Their marriage is really only on paper these days. Why the hell is he still with her then? Divorce her. Yes, he has the prenup and she has her own career and all that, but what a waste of a life. He's going to stay married to her. The kids are adults. They're out of the house. There's no family anymore. Not that there ever really was. No love in that household. What a waste. It's why it's so stupid. These guys, I'm going to be the honorable guy and stay in the unhappy marriage to look good for society, or I don't know what the hell it is. It's stupid. Why waste your life? Now for some little pieces of information he wanted to provide. He says, info, it's a felony or misdemeanor to provide alcohol to minors, and my sister provides stolen alcohol to at least a dozen people who are under the age of 21. Then she resisted arrest and tried to frame me by lying to the police. The fact that she got off easy thanks to the shark-toothed lawyer my parents hired for my sister was incredibly lucky. Not that she was ever appreciative. The judge hit her with a fine for each person she gave alcohol to, which added up. And the cost of the attorney, well, my parents were out of a lot of money. No, your dad was out of a lot of money. That's what it really was. He says here, yes, my parents are wealthy, especially my dad, as he's a business owner. He owns several businesses, actually. One big one and a few small ones. He even owns one of the local gas stations. And the town we live in is full of bored police officers that are just itching to get some action. I also heard that a couple of the minors arrested at the party were the kids and police as well, which did not help my odds when the cops came for me. The reason the investigation went as far as it did is because my dad pushed it through. I also went out of my way to provide some of the evidence, like the CCTV from my job, my apartment complex, and my bank statements showing I didn't buy the alcohol. The rest my dad pushed for. He got a lawyer to get the CCTV from every liquor store in the county for that day. Damn. Though my mom tried to talk him out of doing so, in the end, this took way too much to prove my sister was a liar, because she tried to stick to her story hard, even after my parents discovered she got the alcohol from Dad's liquor cabinet. That's what women do. How many stories have I gone over where it is clear as day? They're lying, they're cheating, whatever, and they will hold on to that story until there's nothing left. Remember that, guys. And yes, my parents lost a ton of money, basically paying off the court to dismiss most of my sister's charges. My sister had to pay like 10%, that's about it. And that probably came out of her fucking trust fund. And that's just a little bit my parents made her pay. They still paid for all her college after that as well. So people calling this out as rich people drama are exactly right, because it's just that. At the time this went on, I was still in college myself, but my dad insisted I have a part-time job to learn the value of work. And he was exactly right about that. My family is wealthy, but my dad tried to keep me from acting spoiled growing up. I even bought my own first car with the money I earned working part-time. But I can't say the same for my sister, as my mom treated her like a princess. It ain't just your mom that treated her like a princess. Your dad has a hand in this too. He is just as guilty, because he is her father as well. I don't think he's her real father, but you guys get my point. Listen how the family's wealthy. Dad owns multiple businesses. He still made the son get a freaking part-time job. He got his own car. These are good values. But why didn't the sister have this? What's that doing for her? Yes, it was mom's idea, but the dad went along with it, and it is his fault. I'm being fair here. The rest of the family as a whole also hates my sister after what she did back then. So there wasn't much love lost when she ghosted us, save for my mom. She cried about it often for an entire year. Yeah, well, the hell with your mom. This guy's mom is a freaking piece of crap. I'd have nothing to do with it. I can't believe he's even talking to her after that whole thing. He says, yes, this happened in the United States, and yes, it was stupid the way the police arrested me. My dad had some pretty strong words with him about that, but I guess the cops had nothing better to do, and the rest was expunged from my records after I was proven innocent. But as someone in the comments pointed out, it's scary how easily your freedom can be taken away. I've instinctively avoided police ever since that happened. For them, arresting the son of a rich guy must have been a big scandal waiting to happen. Probably, and it's sad when this guy's obviously a good guy. At least I'm assuming that. And no one was injured as a result of the DUI, but I've spoken with my dad, and he said there were a few DUIs because a few of the minors there got in their cars and tried to drive away. Considering I heard a few of the people there were the kids of police officers, that only made things worse for me. The cops that arrested me both looked middle-aged, so if their kids were involved, that may explain why they treated me like I was guilty. That's a strong possibility. He says, for those that say this is fake, I wish it was, because it's so stupid that it really should be. But my ungrateful sister broke our family, and she nearly destroyed my reputation as well. These days, everyone in town has forgotten her. She lost most, if not all, her friends after the party because they were all arrested. Well, you know what? Good. But I guarantee you she doesn't give a shit. She left town, went to California, would be with the rest of the female, the mecca for female narcissists in this country. And she's probably having a good old time because she knows at the end of the day, Dad will still pay for things. Mom's the a-hole, 100%. This guy should have nothing to do with her, but still, I'm not letting the father off the hook here. He, at the end of the day, was a parent as well. And you saw in that story what happens when you lay down the law with a mother. He could have done that from day one, but he didn't. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Perfect example of what happens when a parent spoils their kids and let them think that they're entitled to everything else. So for you parents out there, just keep that in mind. And it's crazy how the boy was raised a certain way and the girl was raised a different way, and look what happened. You know? And yes, the girl's a total narcissist, but it's good. Thank God that guy walked out of that okay, and he was smart enough to keep his mouth shut, but then provide the evidence, and he didn't go along with her crazy idea. And I think it's awesome now that, according to him, she's disowned by the father. The rest of the family doesn't have anything to do with her. But you know what? As long as she has money, she's not going to care. So, but anyhow, life will eventually pay her back one day. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and what you think about this. And guys, you come across a good story like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.